I'm Emily Pringle. I'm Head of Learning, Practice and Research, and my responsibility in relation to Circuit is that I oversee the evaluation.
I'm Mark Miller, Circuit Programme National Lead, and I also convene young people's programmes across Tate Britain and Tate Modern.
I'm Cutler, and I'm the Director of Learning at Tate, and I'm responsible for overseeing the whole of Circuit.
First of all, one of the most significant achievements has been actually to be able to get this opportunity supported by Paul Hamlin to be able to do a project of this scale that will have the impact through the aims that we've set.
I think it's particularly significant as well that in a time when the youth service is going through kind of tough times, that there's a very kind of visible statement being made and a very visible offer being made by galleries.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare. I mean, I can't actually think of any other time where we've been able to connect up with other galleries nationally on something of this scale that isn't just a one-off project, but that actually has some life through it and something that aims to take it on a longer journey for everybody. So I think, and just in that, I think having the opportunity to have those conversations that we get to have with all those different people working in all those different places, you just don't get under any other circumstances really. So
if you want senior management and directorial buy-in across all the sites have enabled us to have real impact in terms of what it means to actually work with young people within these organisations, curatorial collaborations, the impact that we can have across rather than outside of learning as well as other departments, and also just really having an opportunity to show the impact that young people can have through their own sort of creative cultural productions across so many varying galleries. And I say sort of varying galleries in terms of the location, the position that they're in terms of what they actually offer young people. So whether it's rural, urban, suburban, and I think it sets a really good picture, if you want, of the landscape of England and Wales. And as you said, in this moment of real sort of instability, I suppose, across the economy, across the youth sector specifically, and across the cultural sector as well.
And I think the other thing that's obviously really important is we are now starting to get the evidence telling us what the impact is on young people and what this programme affords young people in terms of the types of engagement they can benefit from and the benefits they're then getting from it. What the evaluation's telling us is really that sense of young people feeling that art gives them a space where they can develop their own knowledge and their own sense of self. And I think that's quite a powerful thing.
It's almost like, I suppose you could frame it as the rise of the social, because in a sense it's showing the importance of the social. And I think in a sort of wider political context you might think about the social in terms of the social role of galleries and museums, but within thinking about Circuit and young people, it's come through as a social, as a gathering, a space, meeting like-minded people, as well as the social in terms of an artistic programme and what that means in terms of what the social, if you want, catalysts within an artistic intervention that enables young people to connect much more. It's also the social in terms of what it means to develop one's sort of personal skills, professional skills, etc. And I think it's just this idea of how the social impacts one's confidence, your self-esteem, your perspectives, your ideas in terms of what you might want to do. I think one of the challenges of the programme has been how you diversify existing groups, how you start with those who haven't got groups, how you start from a diverse makeup of young people, whether it's socio-economic, ethnicity, gender, etc. And I think that's been a shift, because what it takes is actually how diversity comes to the core. You know, and I think a lot of our institutions are not set up like that, so there is this shift that needs to kind of happen, and I think it's, you know, it's happening at the moment through the project, sort of anecdotally and randomly, and I think all the partners are starting to set up structures that enable those kind of paths to intersect and to be able to bring, if you want, young people and a diverse makeup of young people to the core of the institution, to therefore hopefully create a dynamic and shifting body of sort of young people's knowledge, young people's social cultural experiences that hopefully start to feed out into the wider institution as well, you know.
One of the huge challenges has been that the programme is really trying to change things on 3 levels. It's trying to change programming with young people, it's trying to change organisations, and it's trying to change how we evaluate this practice. But I think one of the shifts that we're working on and will continue to work on is this kind of conceptual shift in how you think about your programming, which I think touches on what you've just said, and this idea that of trying to embed effective reflective practice so that it's not just this sense of you do something and then you move on and you do something else, but you know, this whole process of you do, you review, you learn, you change, you inform what you're doing going forward. And I think really importantly in the case of this programme, because of the need to kind of make this visible, make this practice visible, is you evidence what you've done and you make it public, so that people, not only you and your team know what's going on and you learn from it, but the sector more widely can learn from the experience of what's happened. So I think one of the interesting things that's going to happen next year is that we've got a focus on the festival strand of circuit. So a number of the partners are going to be programming major events, which is not their, as far as I'm aware, their kind of normal way of programming. So there's going to be quite a lot of attention and new stuff happening around that.
And I think especially with the festivals and the impact they have across institutions, you know, with no sort of options in a sense that, you know, they are so big that even if you didn't want to be involved as a, you know, whether you're front of house, catering, etc., you almost have to be. And I think that's, for me, the power of those large scale events. And I think one of the important things for us within these events is actually maintaining the knowledge so it stays within the institutions, you know. I think a big thing next year as well will be the continued push towards diversity and reflective practice as well, and embedding evaluation, and just to kind of just keep that going to the nth degree, you know, so that we achieve a lot of the aims that we said we were going to achieve.
And I think the other thing is that next year we start a very specific piece of research, which is a longitudinal study, which is really going to be focused on what is the impact on young people from taking part in this. So that's a 2-year study that will really hopefully generate quite a lot of that evidence.